These views are awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I appreciate everybody over the last year. I really do.
You are now watching the 2023 season of Farming with Duffy Ag.
Welcome back to the channel. Look at this. Vevor with the hookup. Love working with them. The refrigerator, the car refrigerator was awesome. Links are always down and below. You guys are going to have to wait to see what's in that box. The guy who sent the air compressor, named Guy, hit me up and goes, hey, what's your address? And I do have a P.O. box. I got to figure all that out. I think it's 52. I'll drop it down below. 52 in Sharon Springs. I think that's how you do P.O. boxes. I don't know. I got one. Sent me a heater. So one of the diesel kerosene heaters. And he goes, I know you don't need it now, but in the winter you're gonna. You're right. We are probably gonna need that. So we got all sorts of awesome support. Wesley, or your father, mowed the yard again. We talked about deer hunting and everything else like that. So they're awesome people. Came back from the polls the other day. Was it the polls or before that? And I was like, my yard's mowed. But the biggest thing for today, well, that's in the barn. And it goes back to YouTube is a very small world. Social media is a very small world. Farming is even a smaller world. So there's some good people that good connections throughout the world, and we got to finish cleaning the pack. That's my goal today. My neck is absolutely killing me. I slept on it bad or something, but I had a gentleman reach out to me and say, hey, I got some bull calves that might work out for you. So Norman has two friends. Don't mind this, we got to clean all this up. Norman has two friends, Michael and Damascus, I think. They're on their tags, Michael and Damascus. Yeah, Michael, Damascus. And at first I put them on social media and everybody said, oh, they're Angus, blah, 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 this, that. They're Fleckfie Jersey bull calves. And they still have their manhood right now. But Norman at first didn't know what to think of somebody running around. And as you see, they're all hanging out. They are electric fence trained. They know what's going on. So they've been grazing down in the bottom here. Yeah. Glad that he got a friend. Glad it worked out from the gentleman. He reached out to me and said, hey, I got different ages. And I said, well, I'm looking for one. And then I said, but I bet you want to sell them as a pair. And he goes, well, you don't want to split up friends. So we got two of those. At some point, we are going to have some heifers due to we want to keep this going. Somebody said, oh, raise them, sell them off in the winter. Well, winter is going to be my slow time, and I have feed in the silos. Might as well utilize that to create it. And then going back in and trying to buy animals in the spring to then graze the pasture is going to be the challenging part, the costly part. So if we can get into them at a good rate and utilize the pasture, and why? Okay, so let me go in here and see. You guys probably need a little bit of grain. I was out here earlier, but they did move their grain bucket. So we got to finish cleaning up this. I got it outside. We're going to spread it. Here, we'll grab the grain. You ate the hay out of it too. They're used to being on pasture and grazing. They came from a grass-fed herd. Ken DeBlock, up north of where we're hauling, watches the channel, and he hooked it up. So he reached out to me in two different ways, and we made it happen yesterday. Even dropped it off. It was raining. We got 4/10 of an inch of rain. Up there got even more. So it's wet, but we're gonna look at some corn because honestly the corn is looking better and better by the day, which I'm amazed by. In some of the wetter spots that were a little bit yellow and didn't get as much soil contact. Norman, you want some grain? So, as you see, having friends makes everybody much calmer. I'm trying to read their names again. We need to get some tags for them. Figure out what tags we're going to use. Get them tagged and everything else like that. And they look similar to me. I know when they're going to be hanging out more and more. So, those are bought. Those are the first cows that I've ever bought in my life. And I had a wealthy gentleman who we used to run the family still runs the property. It was the property that got sold for house lots and whatnot. Jack Valentine, and he was very, very wealthy. Owned a Russian logging business and whatnot, and billionaire. And he passed away, and he was 94, I think. And I think when I was like 15 years old, he told me the most expensive life purchase he ever made was cows. And he goes, from there on out, I always had cows, and they always costed me money, but they bring you gratitude, right, bud? So they've been grazing down in here. Once I feel comfortable, I'll let them go in. They're not going to do a huge dent into any of the pasture or anything like that. But the reason why this ground is pasture, like, yes, we can farm this lower half. It's steep for a little bit in between. Ideally, maybe we'll put it into strips. Jono made the good idea of, if you're going to keep that pasture, you pasture it up and down so that cows aren't walking laneways uphill. Laneway would be down in front. Okay, we got some ideas. We got to figure that out. Cows are not going to be a big source of income, but they're a big source of keeping the property clean. Yes, if you do cows right, you can do it. But my biggest thing is, I have this piece right here, which has a pond. That is a pond on the other side if you're new to the channel. I mowed down as far comfortably as I felt. What else are we going to do with that? So the cows can graze all that. This in here, it's got rocks and it's less than ideal, and growing crops around your building, and there's a waterway, so pasture. Plus, you got to be able to get in and out for the bins. So same with in front of the house, over on the other side. That is why cows make sense. Otherwise, we're going to rotary mow it, or it's going to be a wasteland. So utilizing them as basically lawnmowers is the big thing. But you can see they grazed right along the edge and cleaned up underneath those lines. So that's just in a day. They got dropped off yesterday. Ken, I appreciate it. He watches the channel. That's how he reached out to me. And yeah, like I said, there'll be some more animals because it just makes sense for utilization of what we have. Alrighty, let's dive into our day. I'm gonna go check on some corn first, and then I'll let them chill out, finish their grain. We'll shovel that out. The goal is to get some of that spread out on the field before it rains again. That way we don't just have a pile that's sitting around wasting. Might as well put some nutrients back into the soil. I did talk about putting fertilizer back onto that ground. The cost associated with the income, we're gonna leave it alone for right now. If it was a really, really prime crop, yes. We got to figure out what we're gonna do over the hill. I do have some seed. I'd love to get some better crop growing into that. Since how it was managed previously, it didn't have a lot, which I can understand, because when a piece of property is for sale, how much effort do you put into that property? Hot damn, things are looking good on this. The very front, you got to be a little careful with it, because maybe there's a spot where it got a little more fertilizer or something like that. But once you get into it, the consistency of it all, you look down the line, this 186.02, you can just see it pops up. It's greener. Everything looks better with it. Not saying the other ones are not good, but you can see the difference between it all. I'm excited. So when we get done with this, we'll combine the strip. We'll make sure they're all exactly even as far as lengths. We'll combine the strip, and then we will weigh them out and know what the bushels are of that. And then we'll have a comparison of, hey, what actually yielded our best for us. Well, figured I'd come up here. I haven't sat up here in a minute, and it looks good with everything mowed up. This stuff, should have had the planter further out. This stuff is banging, like really, really good. It'll be okay. We'll be good. Somebody did ask in the, what am I gonna do about drying corn? Well, the idea is hopefully we picked varieties that dry down pretty good. And for those of you who don't know, silage corn, you chop it for the moisture. Ideal moisture. Grain corn, you want it as dry as you can get it, without harvesting in the middle of winter, stuff like that, due to you need it dry to store it. And if you're not dry enough, you got to put it through a dryer, which costs the propane associated with it. The rate I got right now for drying figured around probably 14 to 20 cents, depending on where we're at for moisture. So I'm hoping that this matures, we build an ear quick. With weather like this where it rains and then it's beautiful, and this whole week's supposed to be beautiful, this corn's gonna jump like anything. The idea is hopefully we don't have to dry it much. Hopefully we get it down there in the low teens and we're good. 20% corn, 23% corn, not so good. But like I've said previously, we do have some thousands of bushels sold and contracted out, and then we got whatever's left over after that. We didn't market everything due to the situation of you don't know what your yields are, but if you take half of your yield gold and you can say, hey, I'll market that, hopefully you'll have enough to fulfill that contract. We should, at the rate we're going with the corn here. I'll be honest, this is far better than I think. And I know there's still people that say, oh, that corn's not great. We're in the Northeast. There's corn that's a lot shorter than this. And there's corn that's tasseling out and looks great. I know in the Midwest and stuff like that, you're in a whole different ballgame. Growing degree weather, everything else like that. And then you look at the people down south that they started chopping and things like that. Totally different growing. So the US is a big place and we are all in different boats as far as what we're doing for corn. But this stuff in the last week, I bet has jumped foot and a half. And it will continue to do so, especially with blue skies and more moisture. So we're good on the moisture for a while. We will need some moisture for when it starts building ears. So hopefully August it doesn't the water doesn't shut off. But I'm very content. Seedway looks great, channel looks great. Things are good. Well, this was the very first field I planted that got me real nervous because of emergence. As you see, small row, big row. And it'll catch up, as everybody says, to some degree. If it had all emerged very well, yeah, we're good. Nothing started to tassel, which was amazing. But I'm gonna go with this stuff. This stuff will be okay. It's just tall plant, short plant, tall plant, short plant. And everybody, I think, was in the same boat. Very tough this spring. So we go from there to down here. And this is from the sprayer. When we came in, you can see the row of, we came across and I cut over. Well, those were corn plants, now they're dead. Sprayer blight, that's what it's called. And we come down here to stuff we planted way later. Where are we here? That's going this way. Right? Oh, we're on an end row. That's why. So right there where it drops out, this stuff was planted way late and it is catching up. So we were in that field, we scouted that field with Nate. That stuff's jumped 2 feet. Yeah, good looking corn. So this goes back to it's deficient. Granted, it's just the very outside rows. on some spots. So coming back in to just spread on this stuff doesn't make very much sense. We're not going to get the yields out of it anyways. But majority of everything else is very happy. So I'm kind of out here reminiscing. And there's a song that came out a little while ago, and I just started hearing it thanks to Instagram reels and stuff like that. But Neon Union, American Dirt, it hits pretty good. First generation fireman and stuff like that, trying to find a better life. So it has been a year and 7 days since I stepped away from what I was previously doing, and started trying to find what I wanted to do. So it's pretty wild that I'm sitting up here just enjoying the view and the corn's coming along. It's wild that in the last year how much has changed in my life, and how many people, yeah, you guys following along and everything else like that. So I'm in a very good place as far as location and as far as support, and I love, like, these views are awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I appreciate everybody over the last year, I really do. Yeah, it's been tough, it's been a lot of struggles, but it's been worth it, and hopefully we have many more years to come. Just sitting here enjoying how far we've come in the last year. I've been trying to figure out why my neck hurts so much. It's like my neck into my shoulder. It's from doing this. Now that I'm doing it again, I definitely pulled something when I was shoveling it the other day. It's just so matty underneath it that, and then those bigger cows all laid in it and made a mess until I shut the gate. Should have done that a while ago. We'll just have to stay after it. Ideally, at some point, get a skid steer that's small enough to get into this barn. But it hurts. So, part of it, strained something or pulled something that I really haven't used as a muscle. We'll get it cleaned out. I don't think we'll get any of it spread today, but okay. Using my shoulder or my neck, manual labor does loosen it up some, but it's going to stiffen right back up later. Okay, we just got to scrape it with an actual shovel. Got this pile right by the door. We'll pull the rest back with the tractor. That's all lighter stuff. Yeah, I really need to put on my list to get some lime to bed underneath it. That helps dry things out. I did open the window because it's a little humid in here, but they're all out, hanging out there. I'll let them kind of graze this area, and then we'll probably go up to put 2-wire, go up there. That fence is still on all the way across it from, well, when Buddy the steer came back, or came to help out. And then give them a little bit. Hopefully they'll be good. And if they're good there, I'll kick them in the back at some point. So I really need more animals for myself because they do a good job grazing. It is hot today. Tomorrow's supposed to be cooler, I guess, but I don't know about that. Tough life for a healer here. Oh, you're gonna have to get up from your nap. How you doing today? Yep. His paw's pretty much recovered. No more limping. He's like running. You lick it a little bit, right? But it's coming back. All right. Jump in the 27, back drag that stuff out, finish shoveling, bed it, and we might call it a day. We've done a lot more than what you guys actually see, but we might finish up spreading early in the morning. Couldn't even finish getting it all rebedded up and whatnot, even as I was still cleaning it out. They all came in. Why are you eating the junk bales? I put some good hay in front of you. They'll eat through that pile. I put 3 bales there because they're blocking the exit path. But alrighty, I'll bed them down. Well, this is out of the bales, and as you see, y'all are eating it. That's your bedding for right now because it was out of the broken bale. Figure I'll feed some, bed some. But they're just eating on it, even though they got green grass out here to chew on. Just being cows. I knew I was low on fuel in this truck, and I went to turn it around. But we're out of fuel. So this one, I was actually headed to dinner for Aaron's birthday dinner. So I'll get some fuel put in this tomorrow. It's out of the driveway. I guess we will take the 10-wheeler over to their place, jump in with them, because the time I mess around with that, I'm gonna be late. Well, had a great dinner for Aaron's birthday. That's why we went out. Great people. You guys are great too. Little silage truck action. I guess you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for next video. We're gonna do some trucking, and appreciate you guys watching along, liking, subscribing, and see you on the next one.